Well, today I'm doing a test of my two Ibis mountain bikes. One is 1995 and the other 2021. Let's see what the differences are. Welcome back to the channel. So I've chosen a 10-mile loop around near where I live. It covers a little bit of the Angles Way, which is a 77-mile walking route from Great Yarmouth through to Nettishall Heath. And I've just picked up a few off-road sections to test a 26-inch hardtail mountain bike against a 29-inch full sus Exie race monster. So there is a little bit of road and a little bit of trail on this ride, on this route that I've planned. There's not a lot of good off-road mountain biking around near me, but there are one or two little sections like this one, which I thought would be good to compare the two bikes on. So my plan is to ride both the bikes on the same course, one after the other, at a nice easy effort. It's only a gentle ride, just to compare really, overall time, speed, that sort of thing, comfort. I know it's a bit of a pointless comparison because they're 30 years apart and completely different in technology, but it's a bit of fun, isn't it? So to tell you a bit more about the bikes, this one, a 1995 Ibis Mojo titanium frame, handlebars, stem. It's got RockShox SL TI forks. It's got XTR M900 group set with Middleburn cranks and Mavic rims on Hope hubs. So for its day, probably about as good as it gets. I think back in '95 the frame was about £2,000 or dollars, which for almost 30 years ago was a lot of money for the frame of a bike. So this is a bike that I built up in lockdown, and I tell you what, it rides really nicely. So we're back onto a little bit of trail again now. And I can tell you it's been a long time since I've been on a rigid hardtail mountain bike. But this takes me back to the 90s, when yes, I would have absolutely loved a bike like this, because I was riding around on a 1989 Diamondback Ascent, dreaming of things like this. I know there are a few Strava segments on this route, of which this is one of them, so it will be really interesting to compare this hardtail 26-inch to carbon fibre full suspension 29-inch that I'll be on the next lap. So we're back on the Angles Way again. Had a few gear issues just then, had to stop and put the chain back on. I guess that's the joys of cable stretch and slightly incorrectly index gears. And also the heart rate gets up a little bit high on these bumpy trails. but we'll try and stick to the plan of keeping it nice and easy. Woo! If that's possible. So I'll tell you what I am really quite liking is being back on a 26er. I remember the jump to 29-inch bikes made them feel huge, made it feel like you were on a cross-channel ferry or something, whereas a little lightweight, twitchy, manoeuvrable 26er just feels really alive underneath you. It's really cool. I really like it. Lovely being back on this size bike. The narrow handlebars, so much more narrow than we ride now. They feel great. The bike position feels great. Feels lovely. And you get used to having to float over your bike. Teaches you good bike control. You get used to just lifting yourself up and being alive over all the bumps and lumps. Really does take me back, because I know when I get on the 29er, it's so smooth. It's got the best suspension out there and it just glides over bumps. This one you have to be on it, 100% focus. Your legs have to be alive to just lifting your bum out of the saddle. For little lumps and bumps here and there is another style. And being a fairly lightweight 26er, you can still lift them over stiles quite easily. This bike, I weighed it this morning with a water bottle on it. It weighs 11.08 kg. But it feels so nimble, feels so agile. Heart rate currently 157, because I'm having to work harder on this than I would on the 29er. But yeah, this takes me right back to the 90s. And the bikes we rode then. So it's the final stile coming up before a little bit of a road section. So the 46 tooth front chainring means you can just crank this along fairly. What am I averaging now? 15.3 miles an hour on a bit of road, yes, but we got 2.1 inch knobbly tyres on, nice smooth tarmac, but we turn off just up here onto some more trail. Which way do we go here? Of course we do. Now down here we should have the wind behind us, ever so slight downhill. Now without pushing too hard, let's see what we can do on this. 19 miles an hour at the moment. Not pushing, just using the slight bit of wind, steady pedal cadence. Heart rate's come down since the little section of off-road back there, mostly because of all the tractor ruts I was trying not to fall off in. But yeah, we're comfortably 19 miles an hour along here. Oh, this bike feels great. This is exactly why I'm building up a general purpose Kona explosive on one of my other videos, so check that out if you haven't already. Took me a couple of goes to find the right bike, but we're there now, and I'm approaching the back of a slow moving vehicle, so let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. That's okay, she let us past. A nice little downhill then. I hit 24 miles an hour. I mean, it was on road, wasn't on trail, but still 24 miles an hour into a T-junction at the bottom, and these brakes are fantastic. People moan about, you know, rim brake is dead. Disc brakes, you know, are the best things ever. If you've got a well set up 90s cantilever brake with good pads on, it's as good as anything. Again, it teaches you good bike control. And you know, we managed for years with these things. There's nothing wrong with rim brakes at all. And the last little section of single track before home, and a quick bike change. I'll put the 95 26-inch Ibis Mojo titanium hand job frame bike away, and I'll get the 2021 Ibis Exie out. Okay, so home, quick change, and out on the 2021 Ibis Exie. Full carbon, full suspension, 29-inch wireless geared race machine, and I think I shall get around here a lot quicker than that first lap. So having said how good rim brakes are, then you get on a bike with disc brakes, and yeah, they're a bit of a cheat code. They're very good. You can go flying into dead stops and just jam the brakes on and the speed is gone. They're very efficient. So when you get on these relatively gentle, smooth-ish trails like this one, this is where this 29er just is leaps ahead of the 26-inch hardtail. It just rolls through, no effort, no worries. It just rolls its big old wheels through the trails. You've got a nice open body position, wide on the bars, good stability, and it just chugs through. Super smooth gear system, no drop gears, no issues. And as I said, the brakes, 4-pot Hope calipers I've got on here, they just stop you moving forward. The wheels are super light, they're carbon rims. So on the 95 Ibis, I had no end of problems with the gears. This thing with the 12-speed 1x wireless SRAM setup is leads apart. It's so smooth. Drop straight into gear every time. Smoothest gear changes out there. But the bike, oh my god, it feels like a farm gate. It's so big. It feels so massive compared to the 26er. Being on the 26er took me right back to teenage years. But this is just the massive great thing. Genuinely feels like you're sitting on a farm gate. So much smoother again, of course, across these rough tractor tracks. But that's the benefit of modern suspension technology. So much smoother. Still difficult one-handed, but we manage it easier than on the Mojo. Yep, we're through. GoPro battery is now flat, of course, didn't bring a spare, so we're on the iPhone now, which is fitting really. Modern technology for the modern bike. The one thing that's really difficult to do is when you're on a second lap, you can't help but try and beat the first lap. It's just in your head. Perhaps I should have gone on the new bike first, the older bike second, but I guess time and average speed isn't what's important here. It's comparing the rides. And we're back on the road again. So we're now on the bit of road where I said on the first lap 18, 19 miles an hour was quite comfortable. Very slight downhill, slight tailwind. Cruising along here, 20 miles an hour. Barely turning the pedals. Must be that extra 1 kilo of weight, right? Well, I'm back, I'm done. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 minutes between the two bikes. The 29er was obviously quicker, but having said that, I may have been pushing a little bit harder, but I was also a little bit tired. It's difficult to tell, but I think I can certainly say the 26er is more fun, more lively. You can throw it around. It's more technical. Your skills, your bike handling is more evident on the 26er than the 29er. The 29er is just a big old tractor. You can just power through stuff. It's a big diesel tractor on the 29er against a little nippy little quad bike on the 26-inch Ibis over there. Yeah, absolutely love the 26er. I'm going to get the gears dialed because they weren't dialed in at all. And I'm really looking forward to getting that again when things are working well. But nice little bike test. And just to go over the specs, I'll show you what they were again. So here is the Ibis titanium hand job. Ibis titanium Mojo. 1995 brushed titanium with the middle burn cranks. Triple chain set there, and then we've got XTR M900, full of grass now, but M900 front and rear mechs, and M900 calipers and brake pads. Hope hubs on Mavic 717 rims, and up front RockShox SL titanium edition that have been lovingly restored by the guy I got them from. Beautiful forks, still holding air really well. Still ride really nicely up front. Ibis stem and handlebars, XTR levers, shifters, and some modern grips. So that was the first bike I went on. Control Tech seat post and titanium flight saddle, of course. And then the second bike, the 29er Ibis Exie. We've got SRAM Axis 1x12 speed, Wing West titanium cranks. We've got Hope calipers and brakes, carbon fibre rims with Chris King hubs, Chris King ceramic bottom bracket and headset, Ibis carbon bars, Industry 9 handlebar stem, and the RockShox SRAM wireless dropper post with a Pro Stealth carbon saddle on top. I think that just about covers it. Oh yeah, Fox 34, 29 forks at the front with lockout on the handlebars over here. So we've got lockout and we have got the reverb seat post control as well. Deity grips. That's it, hell of a bike. 29er, cross-country flyer, but only just quicker than this thing. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of a bike comparison. Worth doing or not, it was a bit of fun. It's got me out for an hour and 40 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, see you in the next video. Bye.